Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this special meeting of Annapolis County Council. We're meeting today. We had directed our CAO to bring back the lease agreement to deal with Gordonston for council's consideration. And I believe it's prepared, and I think most councillors have had an opportunity to review the document as well. I should make mention as well, we did have a call from one of our councillors-elect this morning asking whether or not it was permissible to have a special council meeting of this sort. And it's my understanding that it is, but I thought since we have our solicitor here, perhaps he could give us a definitive response.
Sorry, mute's on. The solicitor's here. We're 6 feet apart. I'm just going to turn the camera so you can see the solicitor.
Yeah, it's absolutely permissible. This council has full authority to do anything it could before. And so it's entirely appropriate, particularly since the last time we discussed this lease business, several councillors were concerned about not approving something that they haven't seen. Now everybody's had a chance to see it. And so, yes, we're ready to go.
Terrific. Councillor Sheridan.
Well, I was going to call a point of order because I had some phone calls as well of people wondering why the new council hasn't been sworn in. And so I went back on the Municipal Government Act, and section 12 on page 23 states something different. They say 10 days after the vote, the recount, council should be sworn in. So I guess I need more clarification, maybe from municipal affairs. I don't know how other councillors think, but I'm confused now because I'm reading one thing and Bruce is telling us another. And then I'm getting bombarded with questions from citizens. So I guess I need more clarity, please.
Which citizens?
They're just, I'm not going to name names, Timothy. It's residents of the Annapolis County.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've noticed that it's there's a convenient group of they that can weigh in on a lot of these topics. And I think it should become a policy of council that if somebody intends to refer to some anonymous party, that they be required to provide the names of each of those people, because I think this is a ploy that gets used too frequently. I'm going to return this back over to our solicitor to address what Councillor Sheridan said.
Sure.
John?
My understanding is that the swearing in of council would take place at the next regular council meeting after the election. And that has to be, I believe, at least 10 days from the election.
Just hold on. Are you not on the screen, Alec?
No, the screen just went completely blank.
Oh, okay.
Now it says don't turn off your computer. So
Okay.
who knows? Just go ahead anyway.
I'm adding Councillor Morrison just called me. Can you hear Council say something, Councillor Morrison?
The quick brown fox jumped over the lucky dog.
There we go.
We can
Lucky
hear.
dog.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so Bruce, there is no requirement to your understanding that a maximum duration of 10 days could elapse between an election and the swearing in?
No, I believe that's a minimum.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, with that said, Carolyn?
The 10 days is the, under the Municipal Elections Act, the period of time when a recount can be called. So that is why you have to wait at least the 10 days.
Yes.
If council were to wait until the next regular meeting of council, that would be November 17th. This council has elected to set a special date of council that will occur before Committee of the Whole in November, so that the new council can be sworn in and deal with the business of the county as it comes in November.
That's perfectly okay.
Councillor Gunn?
Thank you. The way I was kind of reading this was that the council, after 10 days of no one's, appealed anything, a new council at a meeting should have been called of the new council, not of the old council after 10 days, because essentially the new council after 10 days with no appeals is the new councillor, other than they're not swearing in. So my question would be, why was the new council not sworn in before or just after the 10 days?
Well, it wouldn't be sworn in before the 10 days because you've got to
No,
wait
but
10
after.
days before swearing them in.
Well, that's right, but we had a meeting of council 11 days after. We're having another meeting of council, what is this, 17, 14, almost 2 weeks after. So that's my point, that's all.
I'm-
And also, if I can go on from this, although I did point out that council, we are councilors until the new council is installed, that's what the MGA says. And we should continue to govern together up to that point. But I've since read, other sections of the MGA about how and when council is being installed. And the MGA says that it's quite clear the warden should be chosen at the first meeting of council in a regular election year after the time for applying for recount has expired. Well, that tells me that when that time for recount expired, we should have been calling a new council in to have them sworn in, not still continuing as the oath, because if that's the case, we can continue this as long as we want.
Michael,
As
could
long
you
as
read that,
we want.
please?
Excuse me?
Could you read that quote again?
from the
Which
MGA.
one?
From the MGA.
The warden shall be chosen at the first meeting of a council in regular election year after the time for applying for recount has expired. So anytime after 11 days, the new council can be called in after 10 days. The new council, in effect, should have been sworn in at that time, anytime after 10 days, because the time for appeal is over. Unfortunately, a lot of us weren't reelected and aren't going to be here. So the decisions that are being made are going to be worn by the new council, right?
If I might,
That's
Councilor
the way I see it.
Councilor McNeil?
yeah, I think it says the council. So the next council is the committee of the whole when they appoint the warden, not the council meeting. It's the committee of the whole meeting for the new council.
No, I
We
think
are
it's
still the
council.
council of the day until the new council is sworn in.
That's right. But that the new council should have been sworn in after that 10-day appeal process.
No, because it's not, their first meeting is not until November. Not October, it's
But we
November.
can
is
call
their
a
first
special,
meeting.
we can call a special meeting of council at any time. we're
Yes.
being told. So as far as calling a new council and at that point to swear them in, that could have been done. I'm afraid we're going to open ourselves up some kind of ultra virus thing and end up going down on some other rabbit hole here. But I'm really nervous about making decisions now.
The question really becomes a fairly simple one, and that is, does this body still have the authority to meet? There's nothing inappropriate with establishing a date for the swearing in. Every municipality does this. Most municipalities have it at their first regularly scheduled council meeting. We've actually moved ours a week earlier than that. And up until that point, until the new councillors are sworn in, the people that I'm looking at in this room, in addition to staff, are all councillors who are still fulfilling their oath of service to their residents. For the question of whether or not we're outside of our authority, we are absolutely within our authority. The MGA establishes the minimum time period that must elapse before you can swear the new council. It does not suggest a maximum of any sort. I don't think we're on shaky ground here at all. Councillor Sheridan.
I disagree with you, Timothy. I think we are. I've been reading and I don't feel comfortable doing this to the new counselors coming in. I'm one of the ones that will be working with them. I want to go in graciously and respectfully and do the right thing. I can't support the question today. I feel we should get clarity from the municipal affairs. To be honest, I had a meeting with a lawyer this morning for my father on behalf of the migration I was just doing. I took the MGA with me. My lawyer read it and she reads it the same as I do. And I guess because of that reason, I need more clarity.
That's
We have one from Bruce Gillis, who's a lawyer. I've asked my lawyer. So that's two different synopsis. I think we need municipal affairs.
just had a question. Your lawyer is a specialist in municipal law, the way Bruce Gillis is?
No, I'm just saying I had
Oh,
her look at it as another set of eyes, and
that's
I'm allowed to do that. It's my opinion.
Of course, that's fine. But the municipality retains a solicitor with specific expertise in municipal law.
And I'm questioning that expertise right today, and I'm asking for clarity from municipal affairs is what I'm asking for. I don't feel comfortable. Can they come back with once the new council gets sworn in, is it possible for them to bring this motion back?
I don't think you'll get a legal opinion from municipal affairs.
They never provide them.
Then we have to have answers. I don't know, I'm confused now. There's so many different answers.
And Bruce can weigh in on this, but if your municipal solicitor gives you his advice that it's okay to proceed, you're protected.
But I don't feel comfortable. I don't think it's the right thing to do.
Councillor Gunn?
Thank you. We live in a democracy, and the citizens voted for change in leadership in Annapolis County. 5 of this council will be remaining. 6 will be joining us for the next 4 years. We were elected to represent our constituents, and I'm sure they were elected to represent our constituents, and I'm sure they want the very best for Annapolis County. We should make sure that we don't alienate those councilors. The citizens have chosen to work with us, for them, by making a huge decision before they have an opportunity to consider it and communicate about it. I think would be quite an injustice to a new council, and work to dividing a council for the next 4 years.
Councillor Gunn, I understand exactly what you're saying, but I think the point that's being missed is that both councils, both the one that is now nearly at its completion and the one that is about to begin, both councils are elected for a specific term, and the term is defined by when council is sworn in. That's the official changeover of the responsibility. Up until that point, up until the new council is sworn in, every councillor here retains both the authority and the obligation to carry out the responsibilities of their duties. And one of those things that we do is we do meet. And today we're meeting in order to conclude a piece of business that this council has been involved in quite extensively for a number of years. And to suggest that at this point we should simply abdicate our responsibility and not do anything at all until the new council meets, to me is a little self-serving. I understand it. I understand that it may make the agenda of certain individuals who will sit in the new council simpler, but that's not a good reason for us to abandon the position that we've been democratically placed in for a fixed term. Now, if any councillor wishes not to fulfill the terms of that oath to the letter, you're welcome to leave it. However, we have a responsibility. This is a meeting that was duly called. Our solicitor has assured us that it's absolutely legal for us to be using our authority in this fashion. Just by virtue of having that statement from the solicitor, we are immediately covered from an error. We're protected for an error. I believe that we should complete the meeting that we're being called for.
Hi, it's Ellie here. I've been listening with great interest, and we have a solicitor on whose word we should rely. The seeking of advice of others who are learned in the law but are not municipal solicitors is a good exercise. but it has no weight. It has no substance. The substance we are provided with is that of our municipal solicitor. And if we don't believe our municipal solicitor, do we go to the next municipality and say, lend us your solicitor? Because I'm not sure how else we would get an opinion, because the Department of Municipal Affairs, being part of the government of the province, will never issue a legal opinion on anything. There is no ground firmer than that on which we stand now. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Warden.
Well, I agree with the previous counselors. I mean, to me, this is not appropriate. It's not a good way of bringing in new counselors that are waiting to be sworn in. And I'm uncomfortable about this whole thing too.
Fair enough. Councillor Fowler.
Yeah, all swearing in ever since I've been in council has either been a month after the election or the
Not
next
true.
committee of the whole or the next regular session. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Councillor. Carolyn, did you have your hand up before? Did you want to weigh in?
I did. This council, this sitting council, selected the date of November 10th to swear in the new council. You chose to have a special session of council prior to committee of the whole in November, so that the new council would be dealing with the business of council starting in November at that committee of the whole, where the business is presented to council.
Yeah, we did.
Special sessions are called for specific reasons. Those reasons are given when you get your phone call and the meeting notice. They are usually of a timely or urgent or time-sensitive matter. That is why special sessions are called. New council will be sworn in when they're sworn in. If there was a hurricane, if there's an election, until the new council is sworn in, you are the council and you are dealing with the business of the municipality. This happens to be coming up now. So this is the sitting council, and the sitting council has business to deal with. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Councillor Hammond.
I would like to get on with this. You know, I've worked hard for 8 years. I'm still a counselor now, and I'll be a counselor until November 10th. This has been on the agenda. We've agreed upon to have this meeting this time. I mean, clearly, I think there's some counselors that are hoping for a different outcome. For some reason, a couple of counselors think that they've judged how this outcome is going to be, how this discussion is going to unfold. I don't know how it's going to unfold. I want to hear this discussion, but if they're looking for a different outcome, I think that's disingenuous. I was elected to make these decisions, and I'd like to get on with this meeting, weigh in, hear this discussion on the particulars of what we're here for, and be able to vote on it today. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor LeBlanc.
I'm listening to both Carolyn and the solicitor and trying to get it put together. And Carolyn has been there for many years, and so has the solicitor. So therefore, I think that they are kind of telling us that we are following exactly what we should be doing. As far as the agenda for today, my understanding is it is not something it just came out of the deep blue sea. It's just continuing with what we've been doing so far as our council. So to me, I'm looking at it as being just rolling it along as what we've been doing all along. It's not something new. And the councillors that are sitting here definitely will be wanting to, I would say, continue their due diligence as being the councillor of the day until we have, and we did set the date. A date was set to be the 10th to swear in those counselors. We were never told that it was a wrong time. We were never told it was a bad time. We just went with the 10th. So unless it's something drastically new that we're looking at today, like, I mean, brand spanking new, I think it's just a continuance of what we need to do as counselors. Other than that, I don't know that we should stop doing what we are doing. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr.
Councilor.
Warden, can I add something?
Yes, please.
My recollection is, I think we have what is called a point of order was raised,
Yeah.
and that's not debatable.
Oh,
Point of order is raised and the point made, and then the chairman is to rule on it.
It did go into a discussion though. I think that's allowed.
Yes.
Well, at this point, everyone's has had an opportunity for a go round. I'm going to call for a motion to go in camera. If there are people who would like to vote against that motion, of course, they're welcome to do so. There is no discussion on the motion to go in camera, however, but you can register your intention with your vote. I'd like to request a motion to go in camera under the MGA section 22(2)E contracts. Could I have a mover and a second? Moved by Councillor Fowler and seconded by Councillor Hemming. Thank you very much. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
And actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go through district by district if I can. So let's start off with District 1, yes or no?
Yay.
District 2, yes or no?
No.
District 3, yes or no?
Yes.
District 4, yes or no?
Yes.
District 5, yes or no?
Yes.
District 6, yes or no?
Yes.
District 7 is myself, and that's a yes. District 8, yes or no?
Hey,
District 9, yes or no?
No.
District 10, yes or no?
No, recorded.
District 11, yes or no?
yes.
All right, so we have 7 yeses and 4 nays, and the deputy warden has requested that her vote be
well,
recorded.
I want mine recorded as well.
Sure, if you'd like.
Mine
Absolutely.
as well, please.
So Councillors Gunn and Sheraton and the deputy warden would all like their vote recorded.
Noted.
All right, at this point, I'll ask Carolyn to turn the camera off and we'll proceed again.
Certainly would.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you back to the open portion of our special meeting of council. We have 2 motions arising from our in-camera discussions. And I wondered if I could request a motion to add letter of intent and add lease agreement to our agenda for the day.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor McNeil and seconded by Councillor Hemming. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you very much. Bruce, could you give us the wording for the letter of intent, or do you have the wording for the motion?
For the letter of intent, no, I wasn't working on
The
that.
letter of intent is, just a second, I'm going to bring it
Sure.
up here.
So I had a question. I had my head down when that vote went through and I missed it. What was the question again? May I ask that question? To have the question reread?
Oh, I was asking if we could have the wording of the resolution for the lease agreement for the pop stations read.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, so basically it's the approving letter of intent for long-term lease at 181 Junction Road, internet pop location. And this is to send a letter of intent to Derek DeWolf and Morse Surveying Limited. And as I was explaining to council in camera, we have a pop location, temporary pop location at the Nova Scotia Community College. It's a temporary site right now, so we have to have a permanent pop location. We were looking at building one, And, but we looked at the properties near Nova Scotia Community College, and Derek DeWolf Survey is just up the same side of the road, up a little farther. We talked to them about possibly placing a building on their property, and they actually said that they were considering building an extension and would build an extension for our purposes. So this is a letter of intent, basically outlining what the long-term relationship will be, and the rent fee of $500 a month. We may be able to take other fees from other internet providers needing a POP location. We could share it. And we have to make sure it's properly heated with a heat pump, and we have to have backup generators. This is something that has to be done for all our POP locations, but it's basically giving them a letter of intent so that they can begin the renovations, because we have to vacate our temporary location by a certain date in the new year. And so we want to make a smooth transition and have it done right away. So that's a letter of intent. I've gone over it with council. If you would basically approve that the letter of intent be sent to DeWolf Moore Surveying Limited on behalf of the CAO.
All right, could I have someone who'd like to make that motion? Moved by Councillor Hamel, seconded by Councillor McDonald. Thank you.
Who was the mover? Sorry, Warden.
Councillor Hemming, and then seconded by Councillor McDonald.
Thank you.
Discussion of the motion. Councillor Sheridan, go ahead.
Just because of my feelings with the new council coming in, it's not that I'm against the internet or anything else. I'm not going to be voting for this today. And it's not because I know we have to move forward, but that's just my feelings today. Thank you.
The discussion. Councillor,
Excuse me.
Did you say me?
yes, I did.
I actually like the location better than NSCC property. It's a few hundred yards up the road. It's a little more out of the way. There's more room. There's great parking there. I think it's a great choice, and it's supporting a local business person and a resident and a business in District 2 in the county. I think it's a great choice. Thank you very much, staff, for looking into this.
Thank you very much. Further comment? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And record it, please.
Record it, please.
That's three nays. So both Councillor Sheridan and the Deputy Warden asked that their nays be recorded. Thank you. All right, and now I'll go to Bruce, because Bruce, you do have the wording for the motion with regards to.
I'd like mine recorded too, please.
Oh, thank you. My Councillor Gunn would like his recorded as well, please.
Thank you.
Bruce?
Right. I have two motions to suggest, Mr. Warden, and I have these handwritten out, Carolyn, so I can give them to you after for the wording. First, I would say someone should move that the officers be authorized to execute the lease to EA Fair and Limited as presented to the council in camera today.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Fowler, seconder for the motion. Seconded by Councillor Morrison. Discussion of the motion. Councillor Gunn.
Sure, I'm unmuted here. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You know, I'm getting closer and closer to being 100% behind this project. I really am. I think it could be good for the area. It could bring lots of jobs and commerce. It could. But I'll be on this vote today. I'll be voting nay, because Mr. Farron has yet to come to present himself to council. And I think that's important. I also believe it's important with this much of a project, not only that he be here, but also that the new council coming in have a say on this as well. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. I've got the Deputy Warden.
And I agree. I agree that new council should have a say in this too. And I have some concerns about the discussion that we have had in camera. And I will not be supporting this motion today.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sheridan.
Once again, I'm all for this project. However, I do feel that the new council should have a say in what we're doing. I just feel that in order to move forward with the new council, we have to blend, and I think they should be here as well. And I can't support it today. It's not that I'm against it. I'm for the school. I want to move things forward, but that's just my opinion today. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Young.
Thank you. I am for the school and all the jobs, as the previous councillors have said, and it will be a good opportunity for our county to have all these jobs and opportunities that this type of venture will bring. And I know that the coming councillors, I presume that they would want to have the same thing, something positive for our county. And they are going to be involved as we go along. And for that reason, I will be happy to have them at the table with us and to move these ventures forwards.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Morrison.
Thank you. I'm quite impressed with the spirited affirmation of support for the Gordonston School given by my esteemed colleagues, Councillor Sheridan, Gunn, and Roberts. I was much impressed by the force of their support. And I would like to express my support for this educational activity, which has great economic and community benefit to bestow upon Annapolis County. I will be voting for this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm going to actually, let's see. I'm going to do this once again by calling district just to be sure. Councillor Prout, District 1.
Aye.
Councillor District 2.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. District 3.
Yes.
District 4.
I'm going to say nay. Same reasons of the others there. I'm all for the school. I think everybody knows that, but I agree too. I think the new council needs to be involved in this. So I'll be voting nay.
District 5.
Yes.
District 6.
Yes.
District 7 is yes. District 8.
Nay. Record it, please.
District 9.
Nay, and record it, please.
District 10.
Nay, and recorded, please.
Thank you. And District 11.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So at the end, the tally is 7 in favor, 4 opposed. So the motion's carried. Thanks very much.
And Mr. Warden, I'd like mine recorded as well.
All right. Thank you. Bruce, I believe you had a second motion that's pursuant to that first one.
That's correct. Following the process that we've entered into with the holding back of the property we just voted leasing, the remaining property was to be transferred with certain conditions on use and so on of other properties to the school. So the motion I have is further that on execution of the lease to EA Farron Limited, the municipality shall convey the remaining property to EA Farron Limited.
Could I have someone make that motion? Moved by Councillor Morrison, seconded by Councillor Hemming. Thank you very much. Discussion of the motion. Councillor Gunn.
Thank you. I'll be voting nay, although I am getting closer and closer to being 100% behind this school. But I'll be voting nay, as Mr. Farron is yet to present to council, and we have never been guaranteed the jobs created will remain local. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor of them? I'm going to go. Oh, Councillor McDonald, go right ahead.
Yeah, sorry, can I hear that one more time, please?
Could you read that again for us, Bruce?
Sure. That on the execution of the lease to EA Farron Limited, the municipality shall convey the remaining property to EA Farron Limited. And there will be, I should point out, there'll be the use of the road and the use of the infrastructure as well.
Right. Further discussion? In that case, we'll go by district again.
Is that before we go on? Mr. Warden?
Yes, go ahead, Counselor.
Okay. Before we go on to this, that's the piece we were talking about for the extra?
That's right.
Yes, yeah, the western
Okay.
portion.
Yes, okay.
All right. District 1, yes or no?
Yes.
District 2, yes or no?
I'm still not 100% sure on what that meant. I'm sorry, I should have said more during the discussion portion.
Do you want me to elaborate?
If that's allowed, yeah, it's that or I got to go nay.
Yeah.
But I'd prefer to hear it.
The arrangement as worked out was that we would have the whole property that we own down there subdivided into 2 parts, one of which we would maintain and lease it to the school, and the other one they would get actual ownership, and then they can go borrow money and build their buildings on it and all that sort of thing. So my motion is once we have the lease in place, that we execute the remaining property, a deed to them.
At this time, I'm going to go no.
District 3,
Yay, yes.
District 4,
Nay, record it.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yes.
District 7 is yes. District 8,
Nay, record it, please.
District 9,
Nay, and record it for the same reason as before. I think new council should be involved.
District 10,
Nay, recorded.
thank you, and District 11.
Yes.
Thank you. So the motion passes 6-5. Thank you very much. I believe that at this point, our CAO wants to do a quick presentation on exactly what's entailed in these contracts for the public. So we want to make sure that our residents have a chance to get their heads around the doing as well. So I'm going to turn this over to John for the next few minutes.
Thank you, Timothy. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
So I wanted to start really how this all came together, and so that people can get a general idea how this evolved and where it is now, so to speak. So originally, and it was about 5 years ago, Edward Farron contacted me, and he was contacting me about the Annapolis Royal, the ARRA building in Annapolis Royal, and he was curious what they were doing with the school at that time. As people know, that they were looking at doing condominiums in the ARA building, and I told him that's really, I think, what they're doing. But if he wanted to contact them, that he could. He said, no, fine. I let him go. Probably a year later, I think it was, he contacted me again, and he asked how they were doing with the project. And I had basically conveyed to him that it's gone well. The condominiums are almost sold out, and it's turned into a successful project. And I asked him why, and he said, no, he said he was working on something. And I said, well, there's another school in the county. It's in Bridgetown, and it's going to be torn down, but you might be interested in that. So he wanted to see a couple of pictures of it. I sent him a couple of photographs. And what I didn't note at the time what would mean to him is that the Bridgetown school has round corners and a square section in the middle of the building. And what he said after he saw the building was the Gordonston concept was a round square movement. And so the building had an initial interest to him because of the round square aspect of the building. And so then he began to tell us a little bit more about what he was intending to do. And he was looking to do a private school development. He wanted to use an old facility and bring it up. And then he wanted to meet with Gordonston about their ethos and talk to them about that. and he asked myself and Timothy if we would go to Scotland. We went back to council. They okayed the green light to go, so we went over. We also were at the High Commission office in London related to recruitment of international students and some discussions that were held there. But ultimately, the discussion at Gordonston went very well. It was at that time that they reached out to Ed and asked if he would consider being the franchise. And so he was excited about that. We came back and we followed up with Premier McNeil. Actually, we met with Premier McNeil before we went the first time back in 2017. We met in Bridgetown, and at that particular discussion, the Premier was interested in the project, communicated that there was a policy about guarantees, but wanted to hear more about the project. So when we got back, the Premier was asked by Mr. Farron if he would go to Gordonston, Scotland. So on the second trip, it was Warden Habinski and Councillor Morrison, the Premier, and they went and they met and I guess really had really good discussions about what this could mean and how this would unfold. And the group came back. The Premier was impressed by the project. And so we began to, seek further follow-up with the Premier on a potential guarantee. In October of 2018, after we had several meetings with government, intergovernmental affairs, municipal affairs in the interim, and in that process, it was suggested by our warden, is the province thinking that the municipality may take a lead role in this? And the Premier at that time indicated, well, you're getting warmer, so to speak, as they try to figure out how this could proceed. We announced the project to the community in December of 2018. And at around that time period, the province was actively looking to see what they could do in order to give the authority to a municipality to move forward. The big difference in all this was the original request was a guarantee, which is a different investment instrument than what the municipality is putting together. The municipality cannot give a guarantee the same way the province does. They have to, whatever they build, they have to, and whatever they invest in, it has to be on municipal land. So the municipality would invest 7.2 million into this project with the condition that the 7.2 million as a part of the consulting arrangement and lease agreement that are, the lease agreement is what you voted on today, but the consulting agreement was signed back in August. Those agreements basically lay out the process in which Mr. Farron can move forward by council's approval on these documents. And Mr. Farron had received an advance originally of $188,000. Mr. Farron put personal property security on that money, that right from the get-go. The second phase was Upper Clemens was coming to an end, and they were in a bit of a hurry because their situation, if they had to go bankrupt, they could lose all their assets, and it may not even get transferred or be potentially a project that that Gordonston could move on. So we moved quickly to get the land purchase. The land was purchased for $600,000. Now there were a lot of loans on that property, including one from the municipality. And Annapolis County wrote off $300,000 that was owed by Upper Clemens back to the county. And it was a loan that was given back in 2007, and the county had not received any payments for it or any interest on it. So they wrote it off. As part of the arrangement with E.A. Farron, Mr. Farron said that he would pick up that loss that the county gave up, that wrote off that loan for Upper Clemens. And he said he would pick it up, but he'd pick it up in year 5 of the Gordonston project. With that said, Mr. Farron also, in order to build this building, there's certain requirements under the franchise arrangement. I can't get into that detail because it's between him and Gordonston, but he was required to pay fees for the operational plan that has to be incorporated with the actual design of the buildings. So this is all required as part of how the design of the buildings could lay out on the property at Upper Clemens Park, but also how the school is supposed to flow from an academic use perspective. And then ultimately he needs to get the design of the buildings, the layout of the campus as part of the entire investment package. Mr. Farren has been in discussions with the people involved with the investments. This is all a necessary process of finalizing those arrangements. So we have advanced to Mr. Farren to date about 1.5, 1.6 million, if I'm not mistaken. And that's all that's been advanced. He's entitled to other fees that relate to architectural work, fees for work that he's performed as a part of a letter of intent that was agreed to a year and a half ago, and for security and other things that relate to making sure the property is looked after and maintained as you get ready for development. So that's been advanced. The advance of that portion was done under a demand notice prepared by our solicitor. And the demand notice means that that becomes part of a mortgage on the property, and the property is the security. So where we are sitting right now, the property value by Nova Scotia assessments by the PBSC is about 1.4 million for the entire property. As a part of our arrangement, we are subdividing about 25 acres of land out of the Upper Clemens properties that will remain as Annapolis counties. And the building that we're putting the 7.2 million towards will be on municipal property, period. Okay. As part of moving the project forward, the other properties will be transferred to EA Farren as the franchise holder and as a part of the Gordonston, Nova Scotia project. And ultimately, that aspect is to further the project. If the Gordonston project were not to proceed, for example, the property would have to revert back to the county. But this is to further the project based on the original business case is slightly different than the business case that has been updated in the last year or so. But a lot of it is similar. And ultimately, the investment package requires all the curriculum pieces to be finalized. You know, the networks of the High Commission offices and the embassies around the world that deal with international students, the governing body, and the people that will be involved with moving this project forward are very capable people, and it's exciting, frankly, to hear what is forecast for the future. So we haven't advanced any money to build the facility to go towards for that. Our goal is to wait for the other investments to come in, and that's part of our risk mitigation. These agreements, for example, Mr. Farren will be required to pay the municipality a fee equivalent to when we issued a debenture with the province of Nova Scotia for the 7.2 million, and they come back and they specify the terms, the principal and interest payments, then the municipality, that's a direct order for the municipality to pay. Mr. Farren has to pay a fee equal to what the Municipal Finance Corporation stipulates to the county. So the project is meant to be reimbursed completely. There is no more than $7.2 million being advanced as a part of this project, and as part of any agreement that we have in front of us. So there's nothing further with respect to the arrangements that we have with Mr. Farren in respect to 7.2 million. We will also have a process of how that'll be vetted when we get into the building and verification from project management. Those places will be put in place. And the terms for amortization for a municipal facility are determined by FRAM. And FRAM has the ability to give terms up to 40 years, not exceeding. In most cases, the process for borrowing requires a decision to be made after 15 years where you can pay it off completely. You can make a combined paying it off and refinance, or you can refinance. And ultimately, those decisions get made once we know what the debenture issues call for and what type of interest rates are involved. The idea is to manage the payback that would allow proper cash flow to occur for the the school and for the money to be paid back to the county. So this is an investment, so to speak, but our security is that the building that gets built, and my understanding is the value of all the buildings, let me phrase it better, none of the buildings being developed are valued less than 8 million, is my understanding right now. So the building that will be secured for the municipality will be a building valued at approximately $8 million, and that'll forever be on municipal property as security for the building that we have invested in. And then the leasing agreement really permits Gordonston, Nova Scotia, EA Farron, to use the school as if it were its own, and it has to look after the operation and maintenance of it. And then ultimately that school will form part of the, or that building will form part of the entire rest of the build of the Gordonston campus. And in order for us to make it work and make it legal for a municipality, we've had to take this approach. So we've just finished a lease agreement. We haven't been able to release any of this information up until now because we were in negotiations over many aspects of it. And but this is where we are today, and council instructed that this be put together and brought forward today. And ultimately, there's an agreement, a consulting agreement, and there's a lease agreement. It's been thoroughly vetted. It's been thoroughly gone over with council. And I just wanted to describe it for you and for the public. And perhaps Larry could do a follow-up write-up of what this entails and how this is being designed so that we can move the project forward, get the return on the investment for the other aspects of the project, and then work towards the economic benefits that a project of this nature can bring to the community. So that's just a brief background from stem to stern, very quick. I just thought I'd pass that along. That is what is occurring here today, and that's how these agreements are put together.
Thank you for that, John. And thank you, everybody, for making time for this special meeting today. I believe that that's our last order of business for the day. And so with equal amounts of regret and relief, I'll declare the meeting adjourned. Thanks so much, folks.